Today we shall cover two shorter works. First, the 1891 Mene Tekel Upharsin Russian Visions by the mysterious Ivan Mirovo. Officer Alexis Fedorovich arrives home, trying to cope with his superior officer Yusupovich having been arrested as an anarchist and then killing himself. Then the dead man appears in his room, missing quite a notable portion of his head, and begins to say how the many nations living under the despotism of Russia would one day break free and shatter the empire. Then he recounts the story of Dr. Nikolin, arrested for sheltering the bride of his wife's brother and being sent to Siberia. Nikolin's wife follows him but goes mad and dies miserably in a bug-infested hospital in Siberia, never seeing him again. Then Alexandra, Yusupov's bride, dies as well. Still, Alexis repudiates the dead man as a traitor. And so God shows up and shows Fedorovich a man dying chained to a wall in Siberia for refusing to cover for his officer killing 300 soldiers with rotten bread. Another man dies next to him because he dared report 100,000 rubles being stolen in the army. A woman is there imprisoned for murder after killing an official who beat her 6-year-old son to death because she had no money to pay his bribe. Fedorovich begs the old man to show him the future of his people, and after much begging he agrees. And Fedorovich sees a gang of miserable prisoners in chains, where one falls over dead, and the man he is chained to begs to be released from the corpse, and the soldier rather murders him than be bothered. But then the dead man gets up and starts screaming for freedom. The one negative here is Mirovo takes so long to get to the gruesome scenes despite only having some 48 pages, because of his desire to list various ethnic groups in Russia and elsewhere in excruciating detail. As for the second entry, we cover the work of Paul Scheerbart in episodes 12 and 157. Today we will cover his 1893 Ja, was möchten wir nicht alles, i.e. well, and what else would we have? The dumb children concerns the wind god and his many children, and how when a bunch of dwarves tell his brood their work has no purpose, he blows violently for 3 days until he utterly ruins the bay out of spite. The new dancer has a young girl dance in a meadow in front of a bunch of elves and dwarves, but she is pursued by evil spirits as she does, before she falls over unconscious after raging violently. Modern Gods has the gods fly in an airship over the earth, always in the earth's shadow so those aboard never see the sun. The young cupbearer tries to convince the pilot to fly toward the sun, and then he and the washer girl follow the gods as they throw out silver thread down to the earth to control the people's thoughts, and try to manipulate the gods themselves. But the two are caught and heavily beaten for their trouble. In Fine Skin, the best story in the book, a man wanders the forest at night, cutting his face, arms and bare feet, falling over but never being allowed to rest. For he is dead and he is cursed to wander forever as an awakened corpse, because he was proud of the fine skin he was born with. One wishes there were more stories like this here. The Holy Grove has 2 nuns sit about in a garden, the one telling the other of the founder of their order, who left her husband and everything else behind, as she wanted to free herself from having any wishes or desires, but then found out wishing for that was also a wish. In the clear head, an old man keeps thinking of an old picture of paradise he saw in a family Bible as a child, literally unable to think of anything else. Stubbornness has everyone climb up chains hanging from the sky to get into heaven, and when one man says he refuses to go when everyone else will, as that will no longer be heaven, they beat him to death and throw him in a river.